crushing it on Wednesdays. Do you hear me? Shut up, Nayka. Let's go. Men's over there. It ain't different. Listen, it's women crushing it Wednesdays. OGs hooking up in the kitchen. Call it being range. Nayka's opinions leave you kids days. Men's O's are unforgettable fighter. With a fist raised, we talking offensive defense. Cause if you get knocked out, it's all in a pretense. We put lights out like D10s. Christine, so pristine, you gotta respect the queen's gift. Just sit back and enjoy the views. Opinions are plentiful, but it's for y'all to choose. Women crushing it Wednesdays. Let's get into it. It hit different.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Women Crushing It Wednesdays. I know, I'm missing a few of my girls on the stage, but Nayka may be popping in. It's her birthday, so, we can't blame her for that. And then Crystal has golden gloves. But, we got the champ. We got the champ right here.
It's Mel. Right now, it is Mel crushing on Wednesday.
We crushed Wednesday. Wah, wah. No, you know what? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Jamel. I appreciate you so much for coming on. But before
No, that's cool.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said it's cool. It's always love. When you reach out, I don't have no thing. I'll pop up.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Before I continue, I want to give a shout out for the intro, Almighty Kane. He did it. He put it together. Did you like it? Did you hear it? Were you
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, is that new? Because this is my first time actually listening to that intro. So I was like, yo, I give him that. I give him that. He got the little R&B soul going on.
Yeah, yes, it's new and I like it. I'm with it. The girls are happy. And then
Okay.
also to Arthur de Theta that does our thumbnails and our videos. So shout out to them. Oh, wait, we just right off the bat, D Style. Thank you so much
Shout out to
for
D.
D. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to Nayka. I will definitely be sending her this $5 in the Cash App for her birthday. I appreciate it. Good evening to everybody that is tuned in. The boxing store says, hey, what about... See, I'm the one. Hey, what about the Pisces season? We love Pisces. I mean, Nayka's a Pisces. So what are you talking about? And she usually handles all the comments, so I'm a little slow. But congrats, Team Metcalf.
Yeah. We're gonna hit on that too. We're gonna hit on that when it comes to that too. But yeah, shout out to Chicken.
Yes, we're so happy for her. So thank you, and thank you for all the birthday wishes to Nayka. Thank you so much, Sharon Pointer. That is Tiara's mama. So the champ, the newly crowned world champ.
Shout out to T. Happy for
Richard,
T. I'm proud of her.
oh my God. Seriously, that's amazing. And then someone has a little shout out to you. Hi, Jamel, big fan. Please, can I
That's
get your...
my guy. Hey, he playing games, man. Shout out to my guy over there, man.
I'm like, okay, can we get the autograph?
Shout out to the Box Hard, the Box Hard podcast. Those my peoples over there, man.
I
Good
love
people.
it. That's great. That's great. So y'all subscribe. Y'all subscribe. Definitely. The People's Champ. Here we go. The People's Champ, Jamil. Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all.
D Style said, D Style said, where's the birthday girl? She's out. Hello. It's her birthday. If she can pop in, she's gonna pop in. What are you talking about? Yeah, she's out celebrating already. Anthony Rodriguez says, what up, Jamel? Glad to see you back. Love Women Crushing It Wednesdays. We love you back.
Hey, appreciate you, Ant. Appreciate it, bro.
Yes, definitely. And then we got some prayer hands and some hearts. Thank you. And oh my goodness, we have quite a few things. But anyway, Nayka said something, I think. I don't know. I don't even know how to to check these, but that's okay. Hit the like button, everybody.
Hey,
She said
they got you working. They got you working overtime. They got you working double tonight.
overtime, overtime. That's what I'm saying. That's why I put my cash app on the bottom. I'm working overtime tonight. No, but we're gonna have Juju Balo coming on pretty soon. I'm really excited about him. He's like pound for pound #1 amateur. He was just recently signed to Top Rank, so we definitely want to talk to him. And I know he had some things coming up, and we're gonna talk to him when he gets on. But before we do go there, and while we're waiting for him, let's talk about some of the things that have been going on in boxing. You know,
Okay.
you had mentioned that you wanted to talk about Keyshawn and Edwin. That was
Yeah.
rumored. There were some back and forth thoughts.
I just seen that Mike Covington said it was official through the Ring magazine. So that's a good fight. I like it, especially it shows you it tells you a lot about Keyshawn, especially for his first title defense. We
Mm-hmm.
know Edwin's a dangerous fighter. We've seen him against Shakur. Obviously, we've seen what he did in the past. Basically, a knockout artist, heavy hands. But I think it's a good test for not only Keyshawn, but of course Bo, Red, and Isau, and a great team behind him to basically see what the game plan they come up for that night with Keyshawn.
What do you think about the two different styles? Because
Um,
these are two good styles that we like to see against each other to see which one's going to come out on top.
no, right. I like it because again, Keyshawn isn't. He's more of a come forward fighter. Of course, that's what everyone wants.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of complaints in his fight against Shakur. He thought Shakur moved around too much. But again, it's one of the things styles make fights. So I think they'll be in the center of the ring for most of the fight. With Keyshawn, he's kind of a counter puncher, so he's going to look for openings or create openings, look for shots. Obviously, Edwin has heavy hands, so he's basically going to try to enforce his will and make Keyshawn fight at times. Even if he feels that Keyshawn doesn't want to fight, he has to basically press the issues and make Keyshawn fight when he doesn't want to.
So, do you feel like Keyshawn will stay in the pocket a little bit and take those risks?
I think he will. I think he will. I think he will. I know him and Shakur are real close, but let's be honest, when it comes to the boxing fans, people probably gonna look at this fight as mainly as a measuring stick to see the
Mm-hmm.
difference, how they both deal with Edwin. Of course, like I said, I know they're close and everything, but they're both competitive nature, so one's gonna want to have the better performance over the other. And I think
Yeah.
Keyshawn's gonna basically look at that fight, of course, see what he can pick from that, and try to put on a better performance fight night.
So, do you think that the pressure is on for him to stop him, or just to look better in
Nah,
any?
Bo ain't have it. Bo ain't gonna have that. Bo Mag is not gonna have, you overthinking or trying to prove something. If it's there and if it works, then especially with Red the same way. I mean, I can go back when I fought Ito when I was getting a little comfortable. You can actually hear Red in the corner telling me, yelling things out. Keep your hands up, this and that. When I was getting too comfortable, so.
Yeah.
That's what I love about them. They're gonna keep you in line. They're gonna keep you in line. So if it works. There's no need to take unnecessary risks, but I think it's just that time that pride may overcome at times. So, but again, I think Bo, Reddy, Saul, they're gonna come up with a great game plan to basically get Keyshawn the victory with the least amount of resistance possible.
Okay, that's good. Well, it looks like our guest is here, so let's get him on. I want to welcome
What's up?
Juju.
What's up, Smith Sims?
Let's get him on the stage. Hey, Juju, how are you?
Doing good, Christine. How you doing?
I am
What's going
doing,
on, champ?
and
Jamel, how you doing?
I'm good,
former
brother.
world champ Jamel.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
No, I
Absolutely.
appreciate you, man. First and foremost, let me say congrats on your recent signing. Again, Top Rank, they're great. It's a great atmosphere. They've done a lot for me in my career, so you're in good hands, my man. I hope you make the most of it and have fun.
Definitely, I definitely appreciate that. It's a blessing to be part of, such a such established promotion like Top Rank. Not only Top Rank, but we got overtime too. So
Right. Yeah, shout
it's a
out to them too. They've
blessing.
been doing great. Yeah, shout out to them. They've been doing great as well, man. Can't forget them as well.
They have been
It's
doing
definitely a
great.
blessing.
And usually you would be surrounded by women tonight and not Jamel. But tonight is Nika's birthday, so she's out And Crystal is an official, a very elite official, and she's working in Golden Gloves tonight. So you have to settle for us.
Well,
But
happy birthday to Nika.
yes, absolutely. Happy birthday to Nika. But for
Yes.
people that are just tuning in and maybe aren't quite familiar with who you are, can you please let everybody know who you are?
Yeah, I'm Julius Juju Balo. Started boxing when I was 3 years old. Been traveled the world boxing. You know, my dad brought me to the sport, and I've been boxing for 18 years now. I'm 21 years old. I actually turned 22 this month. Um, and I competed with Team USA boxing. I won the national championships in 2021. Got on Team USA. Went to the Pan American Games. Got a gold medal there. And now I turned professional. I signed a promotional deal with Top Rank and Overtime, and now we're getting ready to get this pro debut going.
Yep.
Yeah. So you had your pro debut date before, but
Yeah.
then you had like a slight injury. How are you doing with that?
Doing good, doing good. So just something slight. I got the splint cast on. We got a little bit of time left on this, and then we'll be out of this and getting ready to go. We've still been in talks with Top Rank and Overtime, and we got a
Okay.
plan coming along, and I look forward to making the debut and making a spectacular performance, fireworks.
Hey,
Uh,
so how long you plan on keeping that on? When do y'all plan on making your debut officially?
Yeah, so not much longer. Not much
Okay.
longer. We've already passed the halfway mark. So not much longer on with this. But the debut is planning to debut in June.
Okay.
that's
Good.
great.
Good. Good.
June
Yeah,
is a good month. That's my birthday month, so that's a good
there
month.
you
I
go.
like I like June.
That's my present for me to you. A
Thank you.
knockout,
I
a knockout
appreciate.
victory.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to ask you because when you were on Team USA, the plan was for a moment for you to go on to the LA Olympics. I mean, you are
Hmm.
from California. You were
Hmm.
going. I mean, you were the guy. You are the guy. For
Hmm.
California. What changed your mind in staying in the amateurs and going to the Olympics? I mean, not going to the Olympics and
Not
turning
going to
pro.
Olympics. I was all sights set, focused 2028 Olympics. But we got reached out by Top Rank by the name Bruce Champler. He's the
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
matchmaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bruce.
Bruce is
Yeah.
hell of a guy. He reached out and got on a call. I actually got a random call from somebody. And I randomly don't pick up the calls. But this time I picked it up. It was Bruce, and he said, "Hey, it's Bruce Trampler from Top Rank." And then I was like, "Okay, I never actually heard of him." And I just started
Oh
talking to
man,
him. I'm like,
you
"Yo."
young now, bro. You know
Yeah,
you making us.
right.
They talking about the 26 sports over here getting talking to them. I'm like, you making us look bad over here. Like,
Yeah,
nah,
I talked to my
Bruce
dad. He was
OG.
like, yeah, I talked to my dad. He was like, man, what, Bruce? Bruce, he made Floyd Mayweather. He made Muhammad Ali. He made
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao. So
Hey, shout out
Bruce
to
called me
Bruce.
over.
I hope Bruce isn't watching this, but if you are, Bruce, shout out to you, man. You're a legend. You're an
Bruce,
OG. He learning, Bruce.
man.
He learning
Dude,
over
he's
here, bro.
like Bruce. Bruce, what?
No, I was talking to Bruce yesterday. Bruce is a hell of a guy, great guy.
Yeah, he a good
But
dude. He a good guy.
yeah, so Bruce gave us a call and he wanted to invite us to the Vegas office, and we had a great talk there, and they actually invited us to Bob Arum's house after. It
Mm.
was they showed us a great time there at Bob's house. Bob's a hell of a guy also. He's 93 years old, but man, the man moves like he's 30.
He's sharp. Yeah, he's sharp. He's sharp.
Yeah,
Bob's still sharp,
very
man.
very very sharp guy. And Bob said, "What do you want to do? Turn pro or go to the Olympics?" I said, "I want to go to the Olympics." And he said, "Well, how can we get you to turn pro?" I said, "Well, if you guys can treat
Got
me
you.
like a gold medalist, if you guys treat me like a gold medalist,
Ah.
um,
They swayed him. They swayed him over there.
so
Okay?
he gave it. We ended up making a deal that I couldn't refuse, man. So I got
Mm.
my co-manager, Jay Prince, and my dad's my 50 management. So we talked to Jay, and I said Jay was heavily involved with Drake's career, the artist. I said
Mm-hmm.
Drake. I said, how did Drake get to like? How did he get this big? Drake started somewhere, and he said, you know what, Juju, he started with three different labels. He didn't just sign with one. He worked with like three different ones. I said, that's a good idea. And at the time, I had Top Rank knocking on the door. I had most valuable promotions. I had overtime, and I said, Jay, why don't we get them all together? And he said, no one's ever done that before, but we can give it a try. And we went to most valuable promotions, and they didn't want to do nothing with other promoters. Nikisa, we had a meeting with Nikisa in LA, and he didn't want to have to do with nothing other than MVP. So we
Hmm.
respected it and talked to Overtime. Overtime was also on the table, and Overtime was like, "Let's do it. We're down. Let's work with Top Rank."
Wow.
And Top Rank was like, it took a little iffy about it at first, and then Jay stepped in, called Bob, and Bob was like, "Listen, man, we gotta listen to Jay. He's the new generation." So it's a beautiful thing that we got
Yeah.
first ever to make it happen. We got the new generation with Top Rank, the new
Mhm.
generation with Overtime, and the old generation with Top Rank. The traditional fans with Top Rank, and the new fans with Overtime. We brought them both together, and we made something. We made history, and
That
that's
is
what
so
made me
true.
turn pro.
Boxing Yogi, he's in California, so he's 2 hours ahead of Central. So yeah, it's still daylight. But yeah, because you know what? Honestly, whenever I was looking into everything and researching, I knew you had signed with Top Rank, but then I saw Overtime too, and I was like, am I seeing correctly? Like what's going on here? You know what? It's amazing that you did that, like, and that y'all were able to, because now we're seeing PBC and Top Rank working together. Well, they have before, but now we're seeing it officially, and we're seeing more and more promoters working together. But I had not heard of that until I had seen that on your bio, and I was like, "Am I seeing correctly?"
Yeah, so that was the first ever to get signed from day one. They do
Yeah.
it, they work with other
Right.
promoters,
They
obviously,
usually do it. Usually it's like the smaller promoter eventually starts working with, the bigger guy one. But like, yeah, I haven't seen it till, like you said, like day one, boom,
Yeah,
off the back. Like, like you see, like, say like a Luda Bella with George Cambosos, George
Yeah.
Cambosos and Eddie Hearn or something and so forth. But yeah, I get what he's
yeah,
saying though.
Yeah.
yeah. Just we wanted to have a twin turbo, two engines, an AMG. We have two engines back in, and it'll creates more noise, got more power.
You're an innovator, and I have to say, I've known Juju for a few years, and he is really smart, and his family, they support him. They are very smart, and the way, all you had to do was ask, and I think some
Yeah.
people are too afraid to ask for things that they want or they think about, but y'all were not afraid
Hmm.
to do that, and it happened.
Hmm.
I think it's absolutely amazing, so amazing. So you said you're planning on fighting in June. Do we
Yes.
already have an opponent? Are we still shopping around?
My main focus and my team's main focus currently is to get this fixed, get the
Yeah.
rehab done. And
Right.
then once we get past this, we gotta take it step by step, day by day.
Mhm.
Once we get past this, then we know we'll focus on opponents, and we'll be able to announce exact dates and where. And we don't want to put things out there until
Yes,
they're official. That way we're not gonna leave anybody hanging.
Right.
absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I love that. So, and do you forecast, like, just in your mind,
Mhm.
how you want your career to go, like within the
You
next,
taking
3.
all you taking all my questions. I was about to ask him like what's the roadmap? Because we know we're in a different era where you see like these fighters, they're fighting for world titles under 10, 15 bouts. It's not like that 20 years ago when you seen guys fighting 20 fights and then they may step up and then they get a title shot. Now because look at Keyshawn and so forth. So like
Mhm.
I'm glad Christine pointed out there because I was damn sure to ask you that.
Great
What is
minds.
yeah?
Great minds.
Great minds think
What is the
alike.
roadmap what is the roadmap in mind that you want to have for your career? Because I
Yeah,
know, like I said,
road.
I know top rank. I know his business. Like, if they're gonna
Yeah,
offer you something lucrative, today's world, like a business, they're gonna want their return back, sooner rather than later. So I'm pretty sure they
Definitely.
got you on a faster track than the average prospect.
Definitely, definitely. We're not gonna go in there with, some Uber drivers or, somebody that's not,
mm,
not been in the sport. My pro debut was with a good opponent. He was 2-0, one knockout. Um, my road rap in my career, I just want to be, I want to be, I want to be number one in everything I do.
Okay.
I just want to win in sensational fashion, and I want to be. People come to watch Juju. I want it to be fireworks, like you're standing at the Fourth of July and you're watching the
mhm.
fireworks explode, boom, 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 boom. That's how I want. That's how I want my show to be.
Yeah, and it will be. It will be. Yeah,
So
I
I didn't get to ask either. I'm sorry, Christine. But
no, you had.
what weight class do you plan on campaigning in the start of your career? I didn't get to ask that.
We'll be starting our career at 126 featherweight.
Okay, featherweight. Yeah, that's a good weight class today. A lot of action
Yeah, I
there. So yeah,
started in team. I was with Team USA at 125. I was making that. It was a little tougher because it was 5 days. 5 days of
yeah,
doing the same thing over and over, having to weigh in and co-weigh, and I'm sure Jamel, you've been through that, and Christine have seen what that's
right.
like. It's not easy,
Yeah,
Yeah, of course,
but
of course. But yeah, especially
there'll
yeah,
be
5 days.
definitely yeah.
yeah, that's very true. A writing yogi wants to know what are you going how are you going to stand out from the prospects? What are your strengths?
We'll have to see. I'm not really the type to like say this and say that, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, I will. Can I speak
Yeah.
for you too? Can I speak for you? Because I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you, this young man is super fast, has amazing footwork, is super strong, especially for 126 weight class. And as
Hmm.
you can see, he's very humble. So we're going to have to
Hmm.
get him to talk a little bit. I think that might be the only challenge that we have.
No, I
But
got it. I got it. I got it. No, I got it. I got it. I got it. I was just thinking. I'm from here. So
Yeah.
so you have a well established great amateur background. Going into the
Yeah.
pros, we usually see those rivalries. Is there any names that you had a lot of clashes with during your time as an amateur who's either
Uh-huh.
turning pro with you now or is already turned pro that you can tell us about?
mm,
I mean, I had a lot of great fights, a lot of great opponents and amateurs. I had over 200 fights.
Right.
Over 200 fights. I'm willing to do any of the fight that the fans want,
I need
anybody,
some
at the
names.
right
I need
time.
some names for these classes.
You
I
tell
need some
me.
names for these
he's
classes.
going to get you to punch your fist.
Yeah.
You
No,
Jamel,
we're keeping respectful, but I just want to know like what are some good fights that you had like I fought
you
such and such and we had like I remember listening to me Olympic Charles. I tell you right now I had to fight my guy Pedro Sosa.
yeah,
Christine knows was a hell of a standout back then. He was winning everything, and I remember just the
Yeah.
Olympic trials alone, I had to
Yes.
face him twice, and we were both from New York, so it was a big thing. Like, but that's
yeah,
one name I can think of. Guys like Michael Reed. It sounds like old school to you, but these guys that I had
Yeah.
wars with coming
but the
up.
reason the reason why I say that is because I can, I like to I like to leave that to the fans. The fans are gonna say the fights that they want to see, and then we can take it from there. So if you guys have names that you guys have seen, like the box rec or something, um, there's a lot of great fights. There's a lot of great fights. Not only just one. There's many.
There,
A lot
there
of
is.
big names.
So, or who do you attribute to your success?
Explain that question a little bit more.
So, either it's a person or what do you attribute to your success? Is there anyone in
Mm.
particular that you attribute to your success, or what do you attribute to your success?
As of as of as of who
Your
as of I don't
mindset,
really
your boxing, your success.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
how do you stay motivated? How do you stay, focused? Is it a person? Is it just something within you? What
It's
is it that keeps you going?
in the beginning what kept me going was my dad. My dad, he won. I
Right.
always wanted to make him
Amazing
happy.
dad.
Yeah. I always wanted to make my dad happy, from the get-go. I hate seeing him upset. We used to drive to LA 2 hours from where I live, San Diego, and I hate doing bad in sparring because I knew when we drive back home, man, it was the worst 2 hour car drive of my life.
Oh,
A long
So
drive. That's a long drive.
yeah, it makes it even longer when you do bad. So, but when I did good, it was like heaven, you did good, it was like heaven on earth. But now of course I want to make my dad happy, but now it's just
Right.
winning. I'm addicted to winning and I'm allergic to losing. So
mhm.
I like to focus on what I gotta do to win. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win because I don't wanna lose. That's
Okay.
what
I
keeps
can
me
add.
going.
Let me add on to that then. On Christine's question. Who are some fighters that that you enjoy watching coming along? Because they said you've been doing this for 18 years, so I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fighters you either watched, studied, or even became a fan of. So can you give us a
Yeah.
few and why?
As an amateur or as a pro fighter, I watched.
Either or. Boxing is boxing with us. Me and Christine we do amateur
Mhm.
and pro, so
Yeah,
either or.
yeah.
Yeah, I watch. Let me start in the amateurs. In the amateurs, I like to watch the Cubans, and my favorite Cuban was Andy Cruz. Andy
Okay.
Cruz, and I used to watch that guy day in day out Olympic Training Center. I remember I was sparring days. I would be up at night just watching him. This is what I'm gonna do tomorrow. So
No, I feel you.
watching him, Julio Cruz. Julio Cruz is what a boxer he is also. And when it comes down to the people that were pro that I watched a lot of Floyd Mayweather. A lot of Floyd Mayweather. Till this day, I still watch Floyd. I watch Andre Ward. I
Mhm.
love watching Andre Ward, Manny Pacquiao, and old head. I'd probably say Sugar Ray Leonard.
That's
Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's a pretty tight. That list is amazing.
Oh,
Um, so a lot of people need boxing. They do. I mean,
Hmm.
we see it usually like with lower income, with people that are going through struggles or whatever. They just need a place to be.
Yeah.
You come from a family that has worked very hard and has created success. Why
Mhm.
boxing?
Boxing is not. I don't do the sport for the money, but don't get me wrong. We're here to make some bread. Don't get that wrong. But we're not gonna do it for the money. That's not the drive. The drive is to not be average. I could have win and did I'm Chaldean. The Chaldeans like we own a lot of liquor stores, a lot of businesses. We're blessed to be in a position where we don't have to do boxing. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
put our life at risk. But number one is I don't want to be average. That's number one. Number two is I'm addicted to winning here in the sport of boxing. In the beginning, it was a little tough as a kid. I didn't want to do it. And like sometimes, go leaving my grandma's house. All my cousins were there hanging out. My dad would
hmm
tell me, "Hey, let's go train." There was days I didn't want to go as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. I didn't want to go train, but as we kept going and we started winning tournaments and everything that came along with it. We won the national championships. Go get a gold medal at the games, Pan American Games. It's something that keeps you going. It's a drive,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like God put me on this earth to be a boxer and to spread His word through boxing. So I feel that's why I do the sport.
And I love that because I will attest, I was blessed enough, to be with he and his cousin Johnny, on Team
Hmm.
USA. And that was like a very great experience for me personally. And something that they both asked me to do on Sundays was to take them to church, and we would go to church, every Sunday.
Hmm.
And those are some really great memories and some really great things that I'll
I
never
do
forget.
remember that. That was our only rest days. On Sundays, we would. Even you
Hmm
would keep me on check though. You would text me, "Hey, church tomorrow, like 8 a.m.
yeah.
or something," and I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we going."
Yeah. So I
Mm.
think that that's so important. So everybody says, mind, body, spirit,
Mhm.
when it comes to boxing or anything. Do you agree with that? Everything has to be aligned.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you're not, you mentally got to be there. You physically got to be there. If those things are not in check, one of them's not in check. you won't be able to perform at your max potential. You look
Yeah,
good, you feel good, you do good. So mentally, physically,
absolutely.
spiritually, you got to be 100% in the sport. You and it because the reason why it's only you. It's not
Right.
because if you're on a basketball team or a football team, you got whatever how many guys on the team. One guy
Mm-hmm.
can slip up. It might not hurt. It might not hurt. Just don't pass that guy the ball. But
Yeah.
here, you got punches coming at you. You punches throwing. You throwing punches. So you mentally got to be sharp and physically got to be sharp all the way around.
Yeah, I totally agree. Red corner boxer, we're definitely going to touch on that a little bit later, since we have the champ here too, the former world champ. We're going to touch on that. So I just want to know your favorite, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I want to
Yeah.
know, like right off the bat, who
hmm
is your favorite female boxer?
My
I'm good.
favorite female
Amateur or pro?
boxer.
It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm.
I've been watching Serrano versus what's that? They just did two
Katie
of them.
Taylor. Katie
Katie
Taylor.
Taylor. Man, oh man. Those
Yeah.
those two, they stole the show versus Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would feel Katie's a hell of a fighter in Serrano. It's gotta be one of them two. And of course, Clarissa is up there also.
Right.
Of course, also up there. And I want to give a shout out to your female fighter also. That
Yeah.
just signed. So
Chicken.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to chicken. Shout out to chicken.
That's chicken, Shane
yeah,
Metcalf. Yes, thank you.
definitely. But there's a lot of boxing. Girls boxing is definitely on an uptrend right now. Definitely.
How does that make
Cool.
you feel? Do you think that it's good? Women should do whatever they want to do, or are you a little old fashioned and
Me
said,
personally, I'm like, if you're my girl, you ain't do none of that. You
so you can't
stay at
date a
home with her.
boxer?
I mean, I probably would, but I'll probably take her out of the sport.
So
Okay,
yeah,
how?
you can see right now he's not putting none of his daughter. If he has daughters, he's never gonna put them in that ring. I can see that already. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
mad at him
never,
though. I'm
man.
not mad at it though. But the add on to that as well though. So who were some of the male fighters you enjoy watching today though?
Watching today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fighters that I like to watch. I was a big fan of Lomachenko. I don't know what happened to
Okay.
Mhm.
Lomachenko. Um, I was a big fan. I really is he he's not retired.
I think he's like semi. I think he's like on the
Yeah,
borderline.
he's
Like
like,
I don't. I think I think he needs the right fight to get him that that dog. Yeah, and that
That
money and
bag.
that dog. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So again,
Yeah.
if he doesn't, he's had a hell of a career. You gotta respect that. But yeah, I can't really say what's going on with my man Vasily.
I would say one fighter I'm watching right now, I would say Usyk. Usyk, he's
yeah.
Okay, that's
Usyk.
cool.
I would say Canelo, and I would say Inoue.
Okay, hold on, hold on. You said Canelo.
hmm
So we know that
Oh
Canelo
hell, oh hell.
in September, in September, Canelo has a fight
Yeah,
against my favorite, Terrence Crawford.
mm.
So who do you have in that fight and why?
That's a tough fight, man. That's a really tough fight. But that's a tough fight, but it's actually closer than a lot of
God
people
damn.
think is gonna
Hmm.
is gonna is gonna be. Because I've seen both of them in person, Canelo and Crawford, and they're about the same height. Crawford
Yeah.
might
Thank
be a
you.
little taller.
Thank you. I tell everybody that. Yes.
Yeah, Crawford might be. I'll give Canelo this though. He is much stockier than
Yeah,
Crawford.
yeah, he is stockier, but Bud might be a little bit taller. Yeah.
Yeah, he might be a little taller, but I
I'm saying
if I
I'm
had
saying boxing. I'm saying boxing lesson chess match for Bud. I'm just saying, like that's
yeah,
just me. I want to see everybody's Christine King when you can't pull the comments up because they're gonna be flooding the
the
comments.
only
But
only
for
reason
me, I'm
Jamel
going Bud.
Yeah.
is he's Bud is moving up 2 weight classes.
I get that, but this is like I said, Bud is a different. Like I'm a big. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Canelo fan.
Yeah,
I choose Canelo over any. You know, what I'm saying I'm big on Canelo, but like. Bud is just different. He just for me, he's one of those generational fighters that just stands out. And like I know him personally, so I know people might say this, but I mean what I mean by that is like I
You
know
see what he
Bud
does?
Christine, he doesn't take on anything he doesn't take on anything that he feel like he can't do or achieve. You know what I mean? He just has that mindset within him. So like people can call it crazy, but or some might think he's looking for the paycheck, but I know Bud, he's actually looking for legacy. You know, his thing is legacy and cement his name. And you know, Canelo's a hell of a fighter. Of course, we're not saying it's
Man,
gonna be an easy fight, but again, I feel
yeah.
like Bud clearly sees something there that he wants to try to expose.
I definitely think Buck could take that fight. Definitely could see that. He just got to pull a hell of a performance on. But if he does take that
Right.
fight, man, oh man, he's gonna be a legend.
Gambling is illegal in Texas.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to bet a Monopoly dollar, you know,
Uh-huh.
that Bud's gonna win,
Let's say a
we could,
thousand. We say 1,000.
okay, a
We
thousand
say 1,000.
Monopoly dollars. Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that. For the
I don't know.
record, Monopoly money. For the record.
Yeah. For the record.
So before we let you go, Jamel, do you have any last questions? I have one last
Nah,
question.
I just basically want to say, I just want to touch on something he said earlier. Just my advice, you know, from me to him as a vet or whatever. You know, he mentioned that he doesn't need to you know he doesn't need to box. He could do anything, anything, you know, his family's established and things of that nature, and I love and respect that. All I
Mhm.
would say to him as a fighter, always keep that hunger, you know what I mean, always keep that hunger
Mhm.
in that dog in you, and always think of boxing as a poor man's sport. Like you always got something to prove and something to achieve, because when you get too comfortable, you start to see a lot of our fighters, you know, they start to sway a bit. But just my advice from
Mhm.
me to you, just to always keep that you know, that same hunger you had as an amateur in terms of you wanted to be number one and winning. Be that same guy as a professional, but just you know, and carry yourself as a champion always.
Definitely, definitely. All the work I did in amateurs, I forget about it now. But I would definitely keep. I forget about it in terms of obviously not the experience. The experience I always carry with me, but
Right,
definitely not get comfortable. I work like I'm a poor man. I work like a poor man, but I live a blessed
Yeah.
lifestyle. So I
right.
never forget that.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. And you also have an amazing family, an amazing support system. You are very, very blessed. I love your family. Please tell them I said hello.
Oh.
Before I let you go, I just want to do you have a message to your fans or any like boxers that are young boxers, male or female, that are trying to get in this sport?
Message, I would just say, if you're gonna do this sport, do it 100% because if you don't do it 100%, you could get hurt. So sport's
Mhm.
not for everybody. You do it, do 100% and give it your all. And if you give it everything you got, you definitely can get to where you want to go.
Absolutely. Red Corner Boxing said, sounds like a level-headed fighter. I like the guy and will definitely watch out for his career. They are in the UK. I love the UK. Thank you for tuning in. Definitely everybody look out for him. Julius Ballo, Juju, because he's definitely going to make waves and he's definitely going places. I can bet any Monopoly money, any amount. Just saying.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Christine. I
No,
miss the days. I miss the days we used to go to church every
me.
Sunday and we used to train,
Yes.
hit mids. So
Yes.
I look forward
Yes.
to seeing
Me
you
too.
again and we'll link up.
No, we definitely will. Absolutely.
Or they want to
Before
follow you on
we go,
social media. Where can they find
yeah,
you on social media,
that
brother?
that I was gonna say that. Yes.
Yes. Yes, you can follow me on social media on Instagram at Julius Ballo and on TikTok at Juju Balo and on YouTube. We've started to post on YouTube now. We just got a YouTube
Nice.
manager, so YouTube at Julius Ballo also. So appreciate you guys for having me on. It's a blessing to
Thank
be
you
here.
so much. You have to come
All
on
up,
again.
bro.
Wonderful
Yes,
evening.
yes, you
Okay,
too.
take
Peace
care.
out.
Bye bye.
Peace out.
That was so great. I love him. He's amazing. He
No,
really
it's a good
is.
kid. Good kid.
He
Good.
really
Like
is.
like a red corner boxer. Level-headed and respectful. Doesn't
Yeah.
come off arrogant. Doesn't come off cocky. Has a clear mind what he wants to do in the sport of boxing as a pro. And again, I knew it once he went over to Bob's house. I knew they wasn't gonna it wasn't gonna be small talk. I already knew that wasn't gonna be the case.
Yeah.
They was gonna snatch him up.
And the thing is, he's so talented. I mean, he could be cocky if he wanted to, but he's not. Like he has a very great upbringing. He's very humble. It's just he's such a great guy. I love that kid. I say kid. I love that young man. I love that young
Right.
man. So we had a lot of people asking, in the chat, Jamel, we're hearing some whispers. Like, what's
So,
going on? What is going on? Are we talking
um,
getting
you
back
say
into?
yeah, for one. Let me answer red corner box. You say it's from the UK, right?
Yes.
The UK has always been one of my destinations as a professional because I fought there. Obviously in the Olympics 2012 games where I first came across guys, women like Katie Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
My man Josh. I fought. People don't know. I fought my boy Josh Taylor in 2011 for in London for the Olympic test trials. So that's what me and Josh
Know that.
became. That's what yeah. That's what, I was out there with Fran Sean and Team USA. We went out there for the test run, and me and Josh had fought, and he beat me by 3 points. I'm gonna post that picture. Matter of fact, probably tonight. But me and Josh Taylor, those been good friends since then. But going back to what you were saying about me, I've been trying for the longest to try to get a fight with Josh Warrington. Cause I've seen,
Ah,
I've been trying to, I reached out to Eddie Hearn, I reached out to, Luda Bella, everyone, but I've been trying to basically get a guy like that and to fight him over in the UK. But that's only the one of the fights I can think of in terms of boxing. And like you said, though, there's been whispers. I've been approached by, the BKFC in terms of competing. I just seen my boy Austin Trout won over the weekend. Shout out to my man Austin Trout. He's doing
yes.
great things over
Austin
there,
Trout.
but
Shout out to him.
they've been offering me like some championship like championship run type of
Okay, look.
purses.
Aren't those gloves like what? No, not even
Hey,
gloves. It's like a it's
I
like
came up in the
toilet
streets.
paper.
I came up in the streets. I came, I came up in, shout out to everybody on Long Island. Go to Heights. I came up in the streets. I mean, I get it. Your hands are your tools, but for me, I've never had hand issues.
Yeah.
So that I know, but I get what you're saying. Definitely, of course, we all look at that, especially as boxers. We all look at that. But it's just something that it's just right now. Like I say, it just talks. It's just something to think about. But for the most part, I mainly want to stick around. Again, podcasting, and shout out to my man Sean Porter. He's been looking out for me over the past few months or so in terms of getting back
Sean is
into.
hot for me right now, but
What do you do?
I mean, we're gonna be like facing him soon.
Oh, I
We're
mean,
definitely.
it is what it is. But now he's been looking out in terms of like getting me back in terms of commentary. So I gotta show my love there. But I basically want to stick around in some capacity, of course, with the fight game. But again, you know me, I talk to you all the time, Christine. So I'll be upfront and say probably about sometime this week, I'll probably hear something about that. What I was just mentioning with the BKFC. I know they want me to come to the events. As you see, they've been bringing a lot of boxers to the event. I just seen Jorge Linares. I just seen David Benavidez attending to one of their events. So it's been growing, it's been picking up. But again, we're prize fighters, so money talks at the end of the day. But again, in terms of traditional boxing, my goal has always been to compete in the UK, something meaningful at least. But again, a guy like Josh Warrington, I've been active for maybe the past year or so. So we'll see.
So what weight? Like let's say okay, you know
Oh
what?
me, I could boxing just 130 still. And I'm proud. I'm happy to say though. I'm happy to say, shout out to Paulina. I've had a conversation with Paulina
Our
recently.
girl.
Mhm.
Yes,
Shout
our
shout shout
girl.
out to Paul. So yeah. So again, I've talking to
Shout out to
Paulina.
fighter.
Yep.
I
Yeah. I'm
love it.
talking. I'm talking to her. So definitely, she will be back in my corner, of course. So, I love Paulina. She always keep the doors open. I know we had a little, few bumps in the road, but again, as a man, I reached out to her and I passed that up to her recently. I think we spoke literally not even a week ago now. We spoke maybe a few days ago, and me and Paulina, I love her. She's great. So, definitely will be good. I feel a lot confident, you know,
With
moving
that,
forward.
yeah, with her.
Exactly. And no disrespect to nobody. I just like I did it with me just about most of the time of my successful career with Bomac and them. So it's when I met them. So again, and even with the BKFC, they even mentioned about still helping me out. Even and with that, I think they go by MMA weight class. So it's 125. I'm definitely not going to try for that. So
Yeah.
135 would be the weight. 135 would be the weight class. Going that route. But again. in terms of boxing, I can still make 130, 135. It's not a big deal. I always keep myself well disciplined around throughout the year. So
Yeah,
again, but I'm
definitely.
happy to say that I spoke with them. Definitely been speaking with Bomac. Shout out to Bomac and them, but I know they just get so busy with their schedule because all the success they got so many things lined up. I know how Red is. Red, Red. When he feels like when he finishes one camp, they're back in another camp. So I
Yeah.
understand the schedule with them. But I spoken with Manny Robles. He's opened his gym up to me out in LA. So that's always an option for me to go back into LA as well, and so forth. So again, I mean, there's options on the table for me, and I still got my man Wayne McCullough out in Vegas. So I just gotta just wait. I just gotta basically just lay everything out on the table and see what's just the best route going from there.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, there's so many options. You can do so many things. Writing Yogi was asking how come you're no longer commentating.
With Top Rank, it was like with them, they were going into just a direction where it was basically letting the younger talent get the opportunity. And honestly,
Uh,
I was becoming a little bit too expensive because I was getting a raise from them every so
and
many,
yet
so many.
yesterday's price is not
But no,
enough.
but again, like I said, Sean Porter reached out to me about commentating with the zone. So, and
Okay.
matter of fact, I gotta check back in with them today because I know they had a meeting. Yesterday was the 8th, so I know I spoke to some guys over there. So I'm basically gonna talk. Basically gonna get back with them soon. But now I'll be back in commentating. Don't worry about that. I'll definitely be back in commentating.
You're really good at it, that's for sure.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Let's like switch gears a little bit and let's talk about MVP.
Yes,
Um, so
big day,
Jake,
big day, big day for them. Big week, big
yes,
week.
big week. Jake Paul is definitely making moves in women's boxing. I've heard many promoters, I'm sure you have too, saying there's no money for women. People don't want to see women, they're boring. And then Jake's like, really, I'm gonna prove y'all wrong. I'm gonna show y'all that that is not the case. Had you heard that too? Things like that?
I mean, like shout out to Jay, my man JC. We've been seeing it. Like when we was working with Micaiah, we was getting calls from them to
Yes.
yeah to Michaela, Taylor Robinson, and so many. We've been getting calls from them long before they made this movement recently. So we seen it coming. So I'm not surprised, but I'm just happy to see it actually happening. Because like Christina, in
Right.
boxing, you'll hear about something, but it
Yeah.
never comes. It never comes into fruition. So
Right.
again,
Right.
I'm just happy. I'm happy to see that women are getting their recognition, and especially like girls like chick is Sharita Metcalf. She
Mm-hmm.
literally started from ground zero. She literally started from the
Ground
bottom
zero.
where it wasn't
Yeah.
even real sanctioning boxing fights. So again,
Yeah.
and then see her, I was just happy to see her. I know your heart melted when you get to see her standing next to Jake Paul during a
My
photo shoot. That tells you right there how far she came along,
God.
saying her own right. And she's a mother. She's representing Dallas as the first female fighter as a world champion from
Yes.
Dallas, Texas. So
Yeah.
again, shout out to her. Shout out to Amanda Serrano for helping leading the way in terms of trailblazing and giving Jake Paul that vision to put women out there in the limelight and to give them that exposure that they've been highly deserved for the last couple of decades now. Let's be honest, decades we've been waiting for this type of moment, and it's just good to see that women are finally getting their just due.
No, absolutely. It's like, I mean, obviously, we knew about this, that this was all going to happen and we couldn't say anything. So we were just really trying to contain
Right,
ourselves because
of course.
we have been really trying to like do what we had to do, and there are many barriers, as there are in men's boxing too. I mean, the negotiations, you go back and forth, but for women there just seems to be a few more hurdles that you have to jump. I mean,
Right.
look at Tierra Brown. How long did it take for Tierra Brown to finally be able
Don't get me
to
started. Don't get me
beat
started with that. It's been
Diana?
it's a long road, but I'm happy. I'm happy for T. Like I said, I came over the amateurs with T. T and I, we actually trained in DC at Headbangers on a few occasions on different camps together. So I watched her. I watched her fight in smaller club shows around that time. No TV
Yeah.
exposure. None of that. Just her fan base was basically the people that she came up with locally at the time, and now she's on top of the world. I love how they gave her flowers at the WBC convention. So they
Yeah,
they acknowledged her and they put her on that pedestal. And again, she had to go, and she had to, like I said, I respect her even more because she had to go to enemy territory to get that belt. And if you look at it,
yeah,
that was supposed to be her opponent's basically homecoming, and she basically
yes.
ruined everything and took the title.
That's right. And she all she needed was the opportunity, and nobody wanted to give it to her, but she was patient. She was
Right.
patient. She stayed in the gym. She prayed. She had faith, and boom. And honestly, she's not going anywhere. She's holding on to
Nah.
that belt, and she's gonna collect them all.
They're
and
gonna take
and
it. They're gonna have to take it from her. They're gonna take it from her. But yeah, like you just said, she basically, and like you said, I think patience is an understatement because it felt
Mhm.
like for us, who love her and as fans, it felt like we
Yeah,
thought she was never gonna get the opportunity because she every time it was time for her to get her shot, like she got
yeah,
overlooked by this opponent,
yeah,
or this opponent somehow came into the mix, and it was like,
yeah.
man, when are you? But she stayed on course. She
She
didn't,
did.
she didn't say, well, let me go call out this champion instead. No, she stayed on it. She knew she wanted to fight. She went out there and she took it. And shout out to Sky for for giving her the opportunity and being a good sport about it in the end.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I mean, shout out to her. This is very true. I talked about this before. Red Corner Boxing says they didn't even have enough respect to put a rematch clause because they thought that they were just going to get
Yeah,
it just
it was a
because
homecoming. They thought it was gonna be a homecoming fight. They thought, okay, we're going
they
to do what
had
we
an
do.
Australian judge. It's just,
You
she
know
she
how it
couldn't.
is. It's boxing. It is what it is. I mean, sometimes you got the home cooking in the mix, but I'm glad that they got it right. So I can't. I'm
Yes,
not going to knock
amen.
it. I'm glad they got it right. The decision right, at least.
Me too. Me too. Recently we saw where Clarissa Shields had said she will never, sign with MVP. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, shout out to Clarissa. She hit me in my inbox directly today about that. She hopped in the inbox of me and just said no. I was just like, all right, I gotta put that to the side for now. But I feel like I love sis. I love you. I love you though. Like I'm always gonna back you. I'm always gonna be in your corner. Like I said, I've known her since she was 16. She was my
Mm-hmm.
Olympic teammate.
Yeah,
I was her team captain. So I was there for her when she was still a kid. So again, but for me, I'm just like I love the direction women's boxing is going. I just want her to play a bigger role in that. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Shout out to her team and everything that they're doing for her. I just feel like there's a lot more she can do and she can achieve on a bigger platform and a bigger stage. That's all. It doesn't mean that her team can't come along with her. Like I said, we seen things work out plenty with promotional. But I mean, like I said, PBC and Top Rank are now working together. So I just hope that whatever the issue is between her, Jake Paul, and MVP or whatever, hope they can come together and just let's make some good fights and give everyone the flowers that they deserve, especially for women's boxing.
I think that Clarissa has been her own boss thus far. I
Right.
think she has done everything that she's wanted to do. And I mean, she's done it well, and I think that if later on they have somebody that they've signed and she wants to be a
The
part
boxing
and she
show is killing. The boxing show is killing me right. Killing me.
and and if she wants to be a part of that later on down the line, it's going to be at her own turn in her own terms. I
I
think it's
get
going to
that.
be
I get that.
her own
I
terms.
get that. But look at Canelo. Canelo's his own boss, but we see him. One minute he ain't rocking with this promoter, but he'll come sit at the table or at least get him out, and
No, yeah, I mean,
he'll do what he doing. He'll get back and he'll be back over here. So I feel
hey,
like she could do the same thing.
Daddy Turk said, you're not bringing that belt up here, honey. And he didn't. We saw it. I know. I understand. So
Same.
money does talk. But I guess my point is this, that she has been her own boss. And if she decides to do it, I don't believe that it'll be peer pressure or pressure from
Nah,
social
hell
media.
no. It won't. It
It's
won't.
going to be because she's choosing to fill her bank account up and do whatever it is she wants to do. That's my point.
No, I'm not knocking it. Like I said, again, if it does happen, you sure as hell it'll be on her own terms. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, there's nothing wrong sitting down at the table to hear everyone analyze.
right.
But who knows?
Yes,
She may have done
exactly.
that. She may have done that. Like I said, she put out there that she speak to her manager. So who knows? She may have done it. Just like you and Chicken had to keep things under the wraps. We don't exactly know what may have happened behind the scenes if it
Right.
didn't happen already.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, right now that's where she stands, and I'm going to respect anybody that makes whatever decision they
Of
want to
course.
make, and it is what it is. I think that boxing, I mean, for women is moving in the right direction, and I'm here for it, and I love it. Can someone tell me who the co-host is? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Really? Former world champ Jamel Herring. But okay, you might just be funny, trying to be funny. I don't know. But so what are some of the other things that you've seen that are like really like getting you excited about boxing? Because right now we're in a
Can we
really
talk
big.
about the rematch? Can we talk about the rematch? Because like I said, I seen Lamont Roach has been getting a lot of flack. I don't. I feel for Lamont, man. Like Lamont can't give my man a break for nothing, y'all. Like I don't know what it is. Like I don't know. I don't like. I love everyone out there as fans. I love y'all opinions, y'all opinion. But it's like y'all being wrote. Y'all was torching Lamont for taking the first fight to begin with. They said he was gonna
Exactly.
get knocked out. Let's be honest, y'all was clowning him because they said I beat him, so I guess I'm just a bum or whatever. Whatever. That's
Right.
y'all opinion. So they were clowning him for that. He goes in the like I said he goes in the fight. He looks good. You have a lot of people that think he should have won the fight. You got a lot of
Me.
people that think that even with or without whatever the knockdown you want to call it, they feel like he should have won the fight, whatever. Like again, it was a close fight. I didn't wasn't really scoring it, but people are mad at him now for taking whatever doing his press tour and speaking his mind. Yeah, that man is like he can't win. He can't
Yeah,
win.
I know. I know. It's crazy, and I'm not even gonna be the one to say I told y'all. I mean, I I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of shit for making videos.
Y'all, listen. They got on me too for that 11th round. He did hit me with a good shot. It's
Yeah.
boxing, you know what I mean. But again, you seen he hit Tank was a good shit. Like it's boxing. Like and I think again, styles make fights. I'm not saying that I'm better than Tank or whatever. I just feel like it was styles make fights. These two have been around like fighting each other, sparring each other since they were kids, 7, 8 years old. So I knew it was going to be a good matchup. And again, I don't see the hate that the man gets. I mean, at the end of the
Oh,
day,
yeah.
it was a good fight. Boxing for us is entertainment, and again, it was a really good fight, and I want to see it again. I actually want to try to get out there when they do officially announce the fight. I really want to go out there to see it in person myself, but again, shout out to Lamont Road. Shout out to Tank. I seen Tank in the gym lately. Still trying to stay sharp. So again, I got love for both of those guys, but I don't get why one gets more hate than the other, or vice versa, and so forth.
Yeah, I don't either. And honestly, like the fight between you and he is one of the reasons why I picked him. And just the way that I mean, you beat him, and I knew you beat him, but just the way that he moved with you, and other fights
Yeah.
that I've seen, I just that's one of the reasons why I picked him.
Like I said, it
Um,
wasn't. I tell everybody to the day, it was not an easy fight. And even like I've
no,
never heard Lamont. I've never heard Lamont. Lamont, he's giving me my flowers. He showed love.
absolutely.
I always show him the same respect. We have a little, back and forth every now and then, but it never gets ugly. It never gets personal. But again, like Lamont said in the interview with Dre, I had a great team behind me. So shout out to
Uh,
Bomac, Red, and Saru. Like
yeah,
we had a game plan.
yeah,
We knew to pick up. We knew to pick up fast in the beginning of the fight, and just the box. It was a chess match.
yeah. That's true. That is so true. Yeah, it was a beautiful fight. I was there seeing it live, and it was just great. It was so great. Um, thank you so much for that, Red Corner Boxing.
I'll go to
Before
Leeds. I'll go to Leeds. Tell them I'll go.
you hear
Christine,
you
no,
heard it here,
listen. I come from the USA boxing era. We always travel, so it don't matter to
yeah,
me. I'll go.
absolutely. Shoot, right? And I'll carry the bucket. So before we get out of here, I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure, and we're gonna
Oh,
do some
anytime.
next Thursday. We're gonna have just lunch. Y'all gotta tune in. It's 1 p.m. Central, 2 Eastern. It's something that I want to start doing. It's really, really, really fun. So wait, Christine, you were at Barclays. Y'all didn't they didn't fight in Barclays. You and
You talking
brother.
about when me, nah, that's talking about when me and Lamont fought. That was in Cali.
Yeah,
That was out in Cali.
yeah, that was in Cali, right? Cali.
I mean, but she'll be in New York soon. We got chicken coming.
I sure will be in New York soon.
Chicken's coming. Yo, chicken's coming.
My girl's gonna be on the undercard of the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano trilogy. Okay, but before we leave, and thank you so much. But before we leave, who's winning that one?
All right. The first fight could have went either way, in my opinion. Second fight, I thought Amanda pulled it out, but
Mm,
whatever. Like I said, and again, like Katie said, I think Katie said it today. You or no, or the announcer or whatever who's calling, who's doing the interview, well, we're doing the presser. He said that you usually don't see a trilogy when it's somebody's 2-0, but I feel
right,
like those fights were so close that they like you had to have. Well, you didn't have to, but it wasn't a bad idea or a bad choice of having a
right.
third fight because again
No,
they
they
were
all want
so
to see
close.
it. Yeah.
So like I said again, I don't know because again sometimes Christine you're a trainer. Well, boxing it could be it could be sometimes it could be more of a mental thing. So I don't know if the two fights bothered, Amanda in terms of feeling like she got to maybe do more, or she felt like she didn't do enough, and because it's different when you get under those lights. So, and again, I don't know also if going into that third fight, Katie Taylor has a more of a sense of of more pride within her and feels like that she has her number. So it's what for me, I think it comes down who has the better mentality going into that fight because they're both so well, well lined up against each other and competitive that it's really hard to still call who is better between the two, even though you got 2 and on paper. But again, they still make up for a great matchup.
So on that note, the mentality part, I found it very interesting today, and I want to hear your thoughts. Whenever Amanda went out there with a headgear on.
Petty.
Hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a psychological warfare, but I look at it again because you got to always look at the facial expression before
Hmm.
the face off and when they right there in front of them and see how the reaction really changes. And I always go for that. But I think if anything, Katie looked a little irritated because again they said she wore the headgear because Mana felt like Katie headbutts a lot and so forth. But for me, I was actually looking at the mental aspect and the I never really see them have a lot of words and exchanges of back and forth during the press conference. Like they were throwing a lot of jabs at each other, during and Katie called Amanda delusional. Um, Amanda basically saying Katie wasn't a woman of her word because 1 minute it was 3 minutes. And shook on it, and so I was really paying attention to more of that. Like, okay, it's gotten a lot more personal this third time around. So I'm definitely tuned in.
Oh, we're definitely excited. We're definitely there for it. That's for sure. It was a little telling to me because for me, I know that it was meant to be a little petty, but for me, it was a
The
little bit telling in saying Amanda's going to be thinking about Katie Taylor
headbutts.
headbutting her, so it was kind of like I know that it was meant to be petty and like a good move, but it kind of for me backfired for her, in my
That
opinion.
means it's still in the back of her head. It's still in the back
Exactly.
of her head. That's what I'm
Still in the
saying.
back.
It's a mental thing. You don't know when you go like you be probably looking too focused and looking out for one thing, but you're not
Yeah,
focusing on the bigger picture in front of you because you're too worried
exactly.
about one thing happening. You can't wait. That's in the past. You gotta let it go and you
Yeah,
gotta just change
that
things up.
that part. And I totally respect both of them. Like I think they're both fabulous. It's not a shot at Amanda, but that was telling to me, and that's how it was. And then right, someone asked if I allow people to. Yeah, we're open. We're nonprofit gym. You come in anytime. If she's there and she's training, you come see her. You know, aspiring, we don't allow videotape, but other than that, we're good. Send my love to Chicken. Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. July 11th for the unification, we're gonna whoop some ass. You know, we're the underdog, but guess what? We've got
Yeah,
her number.
listen. Yeah, always been an underdog, and look what the much as much as I
Always.
achieved. My career, I feel like I was
Yeah,
always an underdog. Going into B&B, I was coming in as the underdog, and Bullmacker, they turned me into a world champion. So I'm always gonna be grateful and appreciative. I don't pay that any mind. You know what I mean? As long as you stay focused, believe in yourself, keep pushing forward, and turn all the noise out, you can achieve anything you want in that ring.
absolutely. My brother and former teammate.
Oh,
Oh,
that's my
really?
man. What's up, man? Derek, sip from fire, brother. That's my
I
brother right
love
there.
it. I love all the support. It's amazing. Um, CPAD said, I think Jake told her to put the headgear. No, I think so too. I do think so too. I think that it was meant to get to Katie, which she cannot be ruffled. I'm just saying, known her, seen her, she doesn't get phased very easily. But I think for me and for Jamel, like, well, I'm speaking for you, but for me, somebody like that is a coach and knows the mental side of it, and Jamel knows the mental side of it. It kind of backfired because it's kind of telling, Katie, that I'm still thinking about that, and if that's the only thing on her mind, it's going to be a very, very long night. Base the kid. I love you, my guy, and you don't have to be sorry, because she's not going to win. And we'll
Yeah.
talk
Oh,
about.
Ben's going for man. I ain't mad at base, man. Like I said, I thought Amanda had the second run, but again, like for me, I think this one's gonna come down to like I said, the mental aspect because they both can fight. They both got that
Well, well,
dog in
base,
them.
well, base is saying that Thorslin is going to win against Chicken, and we
Uh,
can bet some pounds, not Monopoly money. We don't have pounds here in the United
damn
States.
that. Put the check on the line, base.
Right.
Put the
Exactly.
check on the line, base.
Yeah, exactly. So, before we get out of here, any last words?
Again, like I said, just want to say I love you, Christine.
Love you.
You always been a great supporter. Always had your doors open whenever I needed you. Whether from training when I was getting ready for my own fight, shout out, we still pad work and everything to
Hey,
giving me a
I
spot.
still got you. I still got
Man, give me a spot on the podcast again. So again, I'm saying thank you for that. Shout out to everybody back at home. Ashley, I told her to go give her a shout out too. Who wore the shirt for but again, shout out to everybody back at
you. Oh,
home
wait,
and
whose shirt you got? Shirt
Nah,
you
I
got?
can't really get it all right. It's not like, but I said I had to put it on. I had to put it on.
Okay,
But again, like, shout out to everybody just back at home. Just get my
that's nice. Very nice.
shout out
Very,
to, but
very.
again, everybody that tuned in to show much show their love and support. Shout out to Apple, everyone back, like I said. And again, we'll do some more. We'll do some more work in the
Absolutely.
future.
Yes. Next Thursday, we're gonna do lunch. So tune in, everybody, and thank you, everybody in the chat, everybody that tuned in. We'd love to love you. And to my girls, I hope Crystal gets a break tonight, and I hope Nika is living it up. Love y'all. Have a good night. We're getting
Love you
some
too.
shirts very soon. Very soon. Okay. Take care. Good night. Love to love you.